Hello and welcome, my Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your work, career, and vocation read for February and March 2021. I will be your reader, Angelo, Lyons. Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi. Welcome back, my subscribers. Thank you so much for the love and support. I love my Saggies, a lot of good Sagittarius friends in my life, and always happy to serve, which is sort of what these readings are about. Work, career, vocation reads, 3 levels of power read. There's a link in the description box going into what the 3 levels of power are. I will, comment as it comes up. As we go, Carolyn Myss, audio, eviction, I can't speak today. Mercury retrograde, I'm a Virgo, ruled by Mercury. A wonderful video lecture from Carolyn Myss on the 3 levels of power, the literal, the personal, and the symbolic levels of power. We are using that in a 9-card spread. 3 cards from Carolyn Myss's archetype deck herself. 1 for work, 1 for career, 1 for vocation. We'll look at Daughters of the Moon to see what your experience of that is on the inner and your experience of that on the outer, or how you appear from the outside looking in. Looking at life purpose in these lovely 3 levels. There are chakras involved, there's intuitive powers involved. We'll get there as we get there. Otherwise, just asking that you remember it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs. And comment should you have questions about it. I do these readings for myself every now and again. It's not a daily thing. But certainly have done it for clients for decades. So let's get up in this gig, feet on the floor if you can, focus on your breath if you will. Be here in the present moment with me, my Sagittarians, and I will give you the very best that I can give and get for you from my pantheons of the divine. So let's get up in this gig and look at what's going on in your work, career, vocation, February, March 2021. Breathe. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box. They always remind me, right, to make sure. That's like a real honor thing for me, is making sure to give credit where credit is due. All right, let's do this. Yep, I'm plugged in. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, the ascended masters of life purpose, work, career, vocation, and the higher selves of all involved for the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, vocation. Please, my pantheons of the divine, 1 card, what is the dominant archetype, the 8th chakra, so to speak, point of view in their work, their physical power, literal world, lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus, survival intuition, how they survive, how they pay their bills, so to speak. Food, clothing, shelter, what's going on in their career, personal level of power, creative intuition, heart, throat, third eye, crown, their hunger, their thirst, their passions, mental, emotional, and a good touch of spiritual power in their career and for their vocation. The symbolic level of power, their calling, 8th chakra, visionary intuition, the seat of the soul, the higher self, the astral chakra, the soul center, whatever you want to call it, for the Sagittarian. What's the dominant archetype in play there for February and March 2021? So in a way, what we're doing is we're taking the 3 levels of power, and we're going to have all 8 chakras, because I work with the 8th chakra, in all 3 as well. So you're really getting a very holographic read. Now, these Carolyn Myss archetype cards are supposed to be triggering. They're supposed to be. They're written that way. Shadow and light attributes of a particular soul pattern or archetype in which you are working through, the goal being to transmute or transform, depending on your language, lead to gold, shadow to light, toxic to healthy, pain to peace. You can have an archetype for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Eau de toilette, cologne, perfume, and other 3 levels of power there. So just know that one of these in particular is very triggering, but we'll get there. So in your work, you've got the Avenger archetype, action family archetype. It's like, you're not much of an Avenger if you don't do anything, right? So it's definitely that member It's a member of that action family. The shadow attribute, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Now, in the physical world, I think we've seen just about enough of that, I think, young men and women. Young ladies, young gentlemen. Right, enough of that. Enough of violence in the name of a cause, but it's part of the archetype. You know, what people call heroes, particularly superheroes, are mostly Avengers, right? Because how many of them are what? Have a desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness, which means right use rather than abuse, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself, right? Standing up for themselves, standing up for others, balancing the scales of justice. Now, there's a lot of that going on the planet too, but you can see the dichotomy of it. You can see the polarity of it, the light and the shadow. Being played out on the planet in general. I mean, nothing new, but I think the times that we're in terms of your work, right? Keep an eye on your temper, right? Because resorting to violence in the name of a cause, that's pain-fueled, that's fear-fueled, no matter what it looks like on the outside, right? It's different from standing your ground, writing that. It's a very, very subtle thing sometimes when you're so passionate about a cause. Now, this is about maybe your physical work in the world, and maybe your industry, that's a general way of saying it, has dealt with some real imbalances, like if you work in the restaurant industry, you know what I'm talking about, right? So, you know, there's nothing wrong with feeling angry about that. There's nothing wrong with feeling even violent about that. The tricky part is actually putting it into action. Instead of, you know, righteousness, what is the right use of anger and passion? Well, we're going to look at that in the career, heart, third eye, crown. Even though solar plexus is very much an anger center, and that's in the chakra correspondences for the work, let's look at wrath in the heart, because you got the addict archetype. Now, everybody's got an addiction. At least one, right? And attachment. Ken Key's Handbook to Higher Consciousness. God, I read this back in the 80s. And the things you remember and the things you forget. And this is a paraphrase. I don't directly quote anybody because my memory's not that great. The 80s. That an addiction is a preference that, if not satisfied, creates suffering. Now, please, I'm like that with chocolate every now and again, right? But you get over it. So everybody's got their things. I mean, what about people who are addicted to being right? You ever been in a relationship with someone who's addicted to being right, that when proven wrong, they go into withdrawal? Great fun. Great fun. They stop eating, they can't sleep, right? So let's look at this. The shadow attribute of the addict compromises integrity and honesty. Allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Now, I will say, if you work with addicts, I mean, in a professional, like if you work in rehab, if you work in, you know, outpatient stuff, like that kind of thing, a drug and alcohol counselor, so many of my CSW, I think they're CSWs, MSWs, I forget which is which, they all go for drug and alcohol counseling because it's a huge deal. But I'm not going to say that the external addictions and attachments are easier necessarily, but at least you know when you're doing coke and when you're not. Right? What about food? Right? What about an addiction to a point of view? Right? There are so many ways to be an addict. And this is heart, third eye, and crown. And that's what I said. Part of this violence in the shadow here could very much be about something compromising your integrity and allowing an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit, your truth, the divinity within you. Now, the light attribute helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior, and that's what I mean. It's like, this might not necessarily be your dance in terms of an addiction. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It's a general read. But maybe in your career, you are dealing with addictions in some way, shape, or form that you have to address and confront. And it literally says, recognize and confront addictive behavior, whether or not you address it. If it's somebody else's deal, you know, then there's only so much you can do. I mean, if you're the boss in the situation, you know, in other words, you can sort of get the nightmare situation that can be. But this is heart, third eye, and crown. So there's a possibility here that there is a passion for you here that helps you recognize and confront addictive behaviors. And just remember, not all addictions are physical material. They're not all external, and they're not all obvious, right? So we can be addicted to depression, because there is a biochemical component to all emotions. You can be really addicted to any emotion. That's a little cynical for me today, but so we're going to keep moving. Particularly because in your vocation, you've got one of my lifelong archetypes, the mystic. I am a mystic. I was born a mystic. My relationship with the divine I was quite the interesting child growing up. I mean, I started reading tarot at 12, but before that I couldn't wait to get my hands on a crystal ball to discover the deeper mysteries. Now, the shadow is a little crazy. Delusional rapport with the divine. I had a conversation about that this morning with Mal Flanders, my podcast collaborator. It's freezing out here and it's ice storm coming, so we're not collaborating anytime face-to-face anytime soon. But she said, how do you know the difference between what you're hearing and what people are saying that, you know, let's just call it higher power, is telling me to, you know, burn down the Bastille? Really took that out of current time, but I think you know what I'm talking about, right? And I said, well, the divine never says kill somebody, right? My guides never go, oh, you fucked that one up. Never. Never. That's your ego, right? That might be a lower vibrational spirit hanging around you, whoever, whatever. As one of my elders said to me back in my training, long story, asshole dead, asshole alive, right? Asshole alive, asshole dead, right? Sometimes the vibes, even if you are talking to another spirit, whatever, it's not always, it's all a mystery. In other words, you don't know. You don't know. I will not have blind faith in this stuff. I am a Virgo, right? So Sagittarius, keep an eye on this. This card of the mystic here that's helping you really deal with addictions, your own, somebody else's, why not both? Everybody's got one. And taking action. Now, the light attribute here revels in intimate union with the divine. Once again, these readings, I'm used to seeing the sort of the point of power, though it's all in balance, in one of the particular lanes here, work, career, and vocation. Consistently in these readings, it's been the spiritual power, the 8th chakra stuff, revels in intimate union with the divine. So this is kind of saying that whatever the addiction is that's going on in your career, go into your vocation, go into your spiritual work. Because all addiction, I don't care what form it is, visible, invisible, tangible, intangible, it's to medicate pain rather than feel it. I don't care. Like fear, pain, depression, whatever it is we're trying to elude and escape, right? An addiction there, like even the physical ones, like, you know what I'm saying? All of them are that. So to revel in the divine, and the divine, you know, it's like that conversation I had today. It's like God is love. Like anything after that, you kind of know. But my guides have never called me an asshole. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got what I call the Shecky Collective, all the dead comics and writers that just feed me one-liners all day long. They're allowed to work blue. But never derogatory. Funny, but not derogatory. So there's definitely a mystery in play here, and a spiritual one. Chances are people that are... See, people think that they can avoid their spiritual path by focusing on work. You're a spirit. You're a spirit first. Your soul first. Doesn't matter what's going on the outside. You're never off that path. And people who tell you you're off your spiritual path, tell them I said to go fuck themselves. I love reading for Sagittarians, right? Truth just flies out of my mouth like lightning. Let's see what this looks like. Let's feel what this looks like on the inside. So again, that's sort of like the 8th chakra of your work, career, vocation, right? The Avenger, the Addict, and then the Mystic, AAM. It's almost H&M. Let's do Daughters of the Moon Tarot. What's your internal experience of this? Heart, throat, third eye, crown. The personal level of power for all three. Please take a nice deep breath. Yeah, my goddess is of fire in the sign of Sagittarius. Please, I need 3 cards for the Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun watching this video, receiving this read. For their work, career, vocation, please, what's going on in their interior world, personal level of power in their work with that Avenger archetype sort of in the crown chakra. Ooh, okay, I'll hunt for that. That's fine. What's going on? Heart, third eye, crown for the Avenger archetype in their work. That's probably the card, but let's send it around again. For that Addict in their career, heart, third eye, crown. Please, I feel you. I feel you. I don't know if it's the heat, the dry air, the moist air. Cards get sticky sometimes. Come on. What's going on here? Heart, third eye, crown. We'll take that one. That's fine. That's the top card. And for that Mystic in the 8th chakra, which couldn't be better placed. It's a really powerful place to have it. It's very at home there in their vocation. Well, let's find out. 3 major arcana cards. So look, your interior world, I mean, we're going to use the Mythic Tarot to see what this looks like on the outside in a bit, but, and, you know, is there any such thing as a mild, gentle, Major Arcana card? Even Temperance can be an ass kicker. With the Avenger, you've got the Justice card, Ma'at, and this is all about justice. Look, you got to balance the scales here. You know inside of yourself, this is really you coming into a balance of what's fair and what's not fair. Now, like I said before, solar plexus, this is the lower three chakras here, the work, what you're doing in the world. But this is really saying that your heart, throat, third eye, crown, it's like you're really finding balance for yourself in terms of what's fair. We all have to reevaluate what's fair as we grow and evolve. I mean, what's fair for, it's a stupid example, but it makes sense. What's fair to a 44-year-old is not fair to a 4-year-old. No, you're not allowed to drive. Sorry. You're 4, right? That's not fair. Oh, I disagree, right? This is different. This is maybe about there's some karmic balancing going on inside of yourself in the physical world. Also, it feels like you're being tested here. Now, not so much a pass-fail, but a litmus test. Where are you? Where are you in terms of your anger? Because the thing is, repressing your anger doesn't work. Repressing your rage doesn't work. You have to heal it and bring it into balance. But this definitely says that there has been something unjust going on in your physical world around you that pertains to your work. Now, some people, if you consider work only how you make money, that's not what I'm talking about. I make my money through my career, not my work. My work is as a corporate president. You'd think, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, oh my God, you must make so much money being the president. No. I'm a corporation of one, all right? I could give stock. I'm an S corporation. I could do that, and I collaborate with people. But how I get paid is as a reader, as an artist, as a teacher, as a healer, right? As a counselor. That's my career. That's my passion. I don't make my money here. So this could be about housework. This could be about the family. This could be about the people in your life. If this, you know what I mean? That there's something out of whack here. And there's something out of balance. That's what it really is. And it's something that is unjust. If you've really, like, I could see a Sagittarian burning down the village over something like this, resorting to violence in the name of the cause. So make sure you are balancing that. It doesn't mean you repress the fire. It doesn't mean you ignore the anger, the outrage. I mean, I watch TV, I watch the news, I know what's going on. I mean, last year was an empathic fucking nightmare for me, but I cried, I screamed, I felt all of it and let it move through me. And you know what? I didn't key anybody's car. But I'm a witch. What do you want? I have other ways to keep people's cars without ever leaving the house, but no, I have eschewed such behavior. Gesundheit. So, look, the Addict here in your career. You got it with the Fool. The Dreamer here. It's like there is a new beginning for you here. There is a leap of faith here. This is, I think if you're going to get this here in this way, because it's saying there's probably more of a mental, emotional addiction going on here, something that is more internal. You know, I don't know, it's just, I think, easier than being addicted to an external substance that you really suffer if you don't have it. Do you know what I mean? Heart, throat, third eye, crown here. The Fool, there is a leap of faith that's required of you here right now to bring this into balance, but you're really going to have to, like, recognize. It's interesting, the word recognize, right? You take the re off it, it's cognize. To cognize something, that's the first time when you begin to understand something. To recognize means that this is something you've crossed before, if I were to read that directly as written here. So I get the feeling this might be really you facing someone else's addictive pattern in your career, and they're asking you to see this from a different place. The card of the Fool, the Dreamer. This can also say that you might have an emotional attachment, right? Something, a dream. And see, that's more Seven of Cups. I'm not really going to go there with that. Everybody's got a dream, and everybody needs something to believe in, particularly after this fucking year we've been through. Oh, yeah. But whatever this is that you're feeling, it's got to be heart, throat, third eye, crown, the internal world, in the personal level of power, that there is a leap of faith here, and it has to do with the divine. It has to do with your passion. It has to do with perhaps your pain and your fear that controls you, compromises your integrity. And you gotta, if you're finding yourself lying and you can't stop, then we know what we're talking about here, particularly when it comes to your career. I mean, they say everybody pads their resume. I don't. Right? I don't lie about my age, right? I don't. Like, I am honest, but I took vows. I don't have a choice. Well, I do. The other choice is suffer, right? No. Yeah, people can get addicted to lies. It's what a compulsive liar is, and I've dated a bunch of them, and they're a fucking nightmare. On the work front, that's even crazier. And in your personal career, your passion, your hunger, be very, very careful. I mean, the next three cards that go down will really show us what this looks like from the outside. So we'll see what this is about. But you got major arcana cards here. And in the Mystic, I don't think the situation is going to maintain as is, because you got the Tower, Kali the Awakener. This is about spiritual awakening. This is about being struck by lightning. This is about that kind of thing, right? Like, oh my God, is that what that is, right? The foundation's cracked. Something's out of balance. This is all your feelings inside of yourself, and your spiritual power, again, is the one that, well, not just is your leverage point, in terms of healing and balancing the other two, but there's definitely a vibe here that this is the hammer coming down. This is Kali destroying that which does not serve. So you are under an illusion here. There was an addiction, yours or somebody else's. And like I said, who doesn't have them? Your spiritual power, go there first. Go 8th chakra and work your way down. That will really help clear the way. And truth. Lightning is truthing. Light is truth. It just is. Light is truth. So whatever this is in the physical here, this imbalance with the Avenger, and you do want to take action. Just how do you take right action, righteousness rather than abusiveness, in terms of an addictive situation that they're asking for a leap of faith? All right, well, here comes. I don't know how voluntary that's going to be with that Mystic with Kali. So let's get your last three cards down. It's a very interesting read. I mean, I love Sagittarians because, they're so extra. You're so extra. I mean, your 9th house ruled by Jupiter. You're Zeus, right? Expansion. It's Jupiter, the gas giant. Da-da-dam. Let's go. My gods of fire and the sign of Sagittarius, please. Using the Mythic Tarot, can you please show us what this looks like in the physical world? Either a situation that's going on, or what the Sagittarius collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this read appears. Sometimes from the outside looking in. It's just the garbage men. They're dumping the dumpster. Please, what's going on here for this Sagittarian February, March in their work, career, vocation, and their work? They got the Avenger with Ma'at, right? So that 8th chakra Avenger archetype, Ma'at really balancing and weighing this within themselves. I'm seeing honor code here. I'm feeling like code of chivalry for some people, like the vows that they made. And maybe even they're looking at the laws of what's going on in their work, or maybe in their housework, right? Their creative work, something in the physical world. What does this look like, please? Had to see. It's another major arcana card. We'll get there. In their career, they've got the Addict with the Fool, the Dreamer. What does that look like on the outside? Geez, another major arcana card. And please, in their vocation, the Mystic with the Tower, Kali the Awakener in their vocation. What does that look like on the... You got all major arcana cards. I just had a feeling. Like, all right. Now, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. The only card that really anybody would consider is like a bit is that card of Kali the Tower, but it's in the 8th chart. It's in your vocation. It's just going to be shocking. But there's some spiritual truth. We'll get there. There's some spiritual truth coming out as a game changer here. So remember, you got the Avenger with Ma'at. Justice. With the Hanged Man. There's nothing you can do about it right now except change your perspective, so I recommend that. Or this thing is on pause. How many people's work is on pause so that they could focus on their career? It's happening for you, not to you. It just don't feel that way. Right? I gotta look at this differently. If, the thing about the hanged man is that we're turned upside down, but usually we were upside down to start with and didn't realize it. So sometimes this is about seeing things differently, and really then not surrendering the violence to a cause, but acknowledging it, right? Feeling it without acting on it, putting it on pause. Even though this is an action archetype, it's about balancing the scales of justice, perhaps within yourself here, right? Heart, throat, third eye, crown, but with the hanged man, no action. It's hangman. It's hangman. You got to see this differently. It's a really powerful card of spirit. The major arcana cards are the spirit cards. You have fire, earth, air, water in the minor arcana. This is a card of sacrifice, but sacrifice doesn't mean killing shit. It means making sacred. Look at the word. Look at the root of the word. Sacred. You have a sacral chakra, right? Yeah, second chakra. How sacred is our second chakra? And that's in here too, probably. In your career, you've got the addict here with the dreamer, and you've got the star. Honey, there's hope here. I love this. I'm so glad that the addict archetype, because it's such a triggering word. And look, I don't know. I've never met it. Okay. Maybe the Dalai Lama doesn't have any, right? He's the Dalai Lama, or whoever, I'm sure there are people who don't have addictions because they work through them, though. But you would have to be born to a family that doesn't pass on addictive patterning. Who gets that? What's the point of incarnating, right? Well, I guess it's like if you're one of those avatars that are from birth, so many of them, they all seem to come from the East, not so much in the West. But this card of the star is high spirituality. There is guidance and grace. There is hope in this situation. And it's just interesting. Hopes and dreams, right? Your hope, the dreamer with hopes. This could very much be about your career. And it really does... look, I won't say that I'm addicted to my career necessarily, but I will say it gives me such creative outlet doing this. And this isn't the only place that I do readings, by the way. I'm monetized on Facebook now, my Drawing the Circle Productions Facebook page, not the Angelo, Lyons, Malford group, the Facebook page, Drawing the Circle. I'm doing tarot parties now, and I realized this morning, I was like, I'm doing it on Zoom, man. People can hire me. I can do private parties. Right, 10 or less, right? Bring some cocktails. Let's have parties from our own home, and I'll read you for filth. It's fun, though, until it's not, right? So, as much as I'm not addicted to my work, I do like a day off, and I rarely got one. This can be something that perhaps because work is on hold with that hangman, maybe this is like... I don't know what to do, and your addictive patterns, your control patterns perhaps are coming up, and that's natural. How could it not, right? That's about being compassionate with yourself. That's about balancing the scales. The whole world is going through this, and plus if you're an empath, just know the star is here. There is a way through, but the only way out is through, and you're going to have to jump off that cliff eventually into that to follow your star, so to speak. But with this mystic, I can't believe you got like 6 major arcana cards. Out of all there are only 6 tarot cards in the spread, all of the major arcana, right? You got the mystic there with Kali, with the chariot. Inspiration that moves you forward into this world. It's going to move you forward, though, from spiritual power, not necessarily the physical power. In other words, all right, they hit the pause button in your work so that you could really get clear in your career. Really look at what has power over your spirit. Is this pause at work, whatever this may be, this injustice, this unjust pause, out of balance pause that you're finding your balance in, going to have power over your inner spirit in your career, right? It's like the star is there. Have faith, have hope. This is your dream thing, but you're being given a new beginning with that full card. That totally makes sense for the economic situation on the planet right now. That the inspiration is going to hit you fast like lightning. It's going to destroy a lot of the things that you thought were impossible that now can become possible as you align the dark horse of motivation and the light horse of inspiration and bring them together, right? Inspired, I really want to do this. Oh, I got to do this. I got to make a living, right? It's about what moves us forward here, and very, very quickly on the outside. I also feel like an opportunity might come to you, very mysterious, in some way spiritual. It strikes you like a bolt of lightning, some truth, maybe even opportunity that reboots your work and career as a result of your vocation. General read, please comment what you think this is. I mean, I know comments and likes and all that stuff drives up the numbers. People get to see. I don't know if people understand how YouTube works. I'm still figuring this shit out little by little. But every time you like a video, it helps other people see it. It like magnifies the amount of people who can see it. I don't know about exponentially. I don't know. Let's not talk math. But certainly here, this is all major arcana. I'm just saying that's rare, but you are ninth house, right? So may the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, that they may take the lightning of the spiritual awakening being brought in by the chariot and also moving them forward in that mystic archetype in their vocation to hear the call when it comes and act accordingly, right? So that they can manage whatever this addiction archetype, this addict archetype is pointing to, whether it's their own, somebody else's. Is there really a difference there? Everybody's got one. So that they can have the faith and take the leap and follow the star that they need in their career, even though things are on pause and unjust. I can feel that. Unjust for them in the physical world. It's not fair. But there's a purpose to it. One that if they change the way they can see this, see it differently, they will come into the balance they need and then be able to balance that internal justice within themselves to move forward with the chariot from their the inspiration, motivation from their 8th chakra coming down through the heart, third eye, crown, in hope and balance, in congruity of spirit, into their work, into the world, the lower 3 chakras, where they can right those scales of balance within and outside of themselves, for society and themselves, for the well-being of all. So would it be. So it is. Interesting read. Please comment, and if you like you want more, subscribe. Otherwise, wishing you all the very, very best and the very, very blessed in a rather complex and very spiritual, mystical, whatever work, career, vocation path, February and March 2020. My Saggies, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.